Excuse me, I didn't think there would be so many people tonight.
We're all very young.
And one of my tricks is that I can actually make thoughts and answer questions at the same time. So if you have any questions, yeah. But I thought it'd be neat to go ahead and start out with talking about wedging a little bit, or anti-wedging, as I like to see, because I do production around town in Seagrove. So I'm like a journeyman potter. I'll go to their shop and they provide the clay and show me what they want me to make them, and I'll limit myself to like 100, 125 pounds a day. But sometimes if I'm doing mugs and the mug is like 1 pound, that's 125 mugs or whatever, or 2 pound bowls or whatever. Ideally, they have a pug mill there, and they have all the clay extruded out and ready for me to go. And with pug mill, you cut it in equal parts, and and then you have all your clay balls ready. They're all the same weight. Sometimes I don't have a pug mill, and I have to work out of the bag, which is terrible. But I found ways to kind of prep clay out of the bag without wedging, because I cannot sit there all day and wedge 100 1-pound clay balls. I mean, wedging is, this is all my personal opinion, but take it as a grain of salt. It's great to know how to wedge, but you should avoid it your whole life. As much as you can. Only when necessary. And a lot of times it will be necessary, yeah, but it'll just blast your wrists out. So, has anyone seen that cool? I think there is even a few more YouTube videos floating around about the stack and slam wedging method. All right, well, I'm just going to do a little bit of that real quick. Ideally, it's nice to have a wedging table with a plaster slab and a wire at an angle, so you can just cut, boom, but at places where they don't have that, I just kind of have to work on the table and cut it with a wire tool. So let's say I need to make 1-pound mugs, or my brain is sticking for a moment. So ideally, I'll have a scale. And let's say I need to make like 1-pound mugs, but I'm working out of a block of clay. Sometimes the clay's been sitting in a factory. The bottom layer gets a little compressed, the top is a little soft, and if you cut a block of clay off, even for a large pot, put it right on the wheel, you're going to feel the undulations, and that drives you nuts. The only alternative, well, not the only alternative, but what we have to do is just take the clay and kind of wedge it up just to loosen it. But I want to avoid that, so what I'll do is, and I'm going to use 2 different pieces of clay just as a visual, just to see how exponentially the clay blends in when you do this method. It's pretty wild. But imagine, okay, I cut let's say this is 6 pounds of clay. So I'm just going to work this up, get it ready, and then cut it into 6 individual pieces. Then I'll have my clay balls ready for making mugs.
Just save me a scale.
I don't have to use my imagination. 6 pounds. I've been doing this a lot. So yeah, I hope this table will take it. I'm going to go easy on it, but it's just put them together, throwing them at an angle so it stretches. Just kind of take a wire tool, cut it in half, stack it there, get another angle as much as you can.
The crank.
Oh no!
It's just
Okay.
it just
It just fell out.
yeah. I'll just leave it here because it might slide.
And this works with, let's say, you've been working all day, you've got some good pots, but you flopped a bunch of pots, and you kind of spread them out and let them dry for the next day. But also, you can potentially take some of your flopped pots, get a block of firm clay, and then just start doing this with the flopped pots. It's a little messy at first, but eventually it'll start pulling it in and re-wedging it. So the what's great about this method is you're just using your arms, shoulders, you're not using your wrists. So these are like firm muscles, they can handle this whole process. So I'm just going to keep doing this for more times.
Jared, are you rotating that 90 degrees?
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Just kind of picking it up. Yeah, a half turn, 90 degrees. Get that, throw at an angle so it stretches out a little bit. Can everybody see this okay? Probably not great. I'm cutting it, bring this one on top, picking it up, turning it, flipping it over. So I'm not going to sit here and do this all night. I'm just going to do it just for a little bit to show you like where we are. So it's already fitting in really well. And there's like this crazy number of layers that this one block will form. If you do this like 30 repetitions, it's something like around 1 million layers or something like this. Every time you're just doubling it and doubling it and doubling it. It's really moving the clay around. And it is absolutely workable once you get it on the wheel. Just do this a few times. It stretches it out, condenses it, puts it back together. It's great. Okay, so once I've done that, and this is also just kind of using your arm muscles, not blasting your wrists out. Kind of banging into a kind of loaf-looking thing. And what I like to do is kind of pretend that I'm working at a place that has a pug mill. And then you have a pug of clay. If I cut this into 6 equal parts, see how well I did. Might be a little off. I'm just going to look for the one that looks like it weighs a pound. That's a pound.
Success.
All right, any questions?
What's the name of that?
Oh gosh, I can never remember. It's like slapping stack or something. Be careful when you Google it.
And typically, how many times would you do it, or is it a matter of just
The guy in the video I watched, he did it about 30 times, but that was more for visuals, just to see the 2 clay bodies just absolutely blend. If I'm using the same, if I'm working off of just 1 clay body, I'll do it about 10 times. That's enough to stretch it out, especially if the clay is already in a bag, because it's de-aired and pug and everything. If you're working with recycled clay, like it comes out of a mixer, it's not de-aired, you'll want to spend a good amount of time doing it. I'd say no more than 30 times, yeah. Alright, so
30 times would be enough even for reclaim.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I like hearing getting other info too, for sure. Well, I will do a mug. Just simple, straightforward. Where is?
Do you always work at a standing wheel?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you notice I kind of turn the wheel this way. I love having this kind of setup. When I started doing production in Seagrove, I was in my mid-20s. After about 3 years of sitting down and just making pots all day long, I was getting back problems already. Okay, I have to change that. A lot of the potters in Seagrove stand up, and it's just for back issues. Yeah, I've got a Brent at home, and I have it just up on 3 vertical center blocks, and that is just like ideal height. If you're standing up, you want the splash pan ideally to be at your waist. So, and this is like for normal height people. Yeah, and so I have this. This is my preferred setup. Like if I'm standing up, I don't want to work the pedal with my foot because I'm putting all my weight on 1 foot already. So it's nice to have it up here. I'll even loosen this bolt a little bit and just kind of work the wheel speed with my hand and then step away from it. Just work out. one speed and then adjust it as you need to go. I teach some classes too, and I will, this is kind of unorthodox, I'll get all my beginner students to pick up the pedal. You know, they're sitting down, but they have benches beside them, and be like, put the pedal on the bench, you know, don't keep your foot on it, because like, you know, when you're losing control over a wheel, you start, you know, losing control over other body parts, and you start slamming the wheel, or you turn the wheel off. It's like, no, just try to set it at a speed and just work from there. That way you're just kind of focused on this one thing, and then adjust the speed as you go. So, yeah, I like to have my pedal up here, and I have a sponge right here to keep my tools on, my bucket here, and I'm right here at the pot, instead of on this side, always reaching over, getting water on my hands because that blows out your shoulder. These are things I have to think about because I make a lot of pots. So like every little movement, if you can shave it off, it adds up.
How long have you been doing it?
About 22 years. This is my favorite rib tool. It's just a metal cutting knife, and I have an assortment. This is a great cleanup tool. Just counter. This is a specialty bowl tool that I made out of another metal scraper. I'll show you how that works. Back in 2011, I did move to Appleton, Wisconsin, to go work at a mug factory for about 5 months, and then after that, it was like a real kind of pottery boot camp, really. We were, I was responsible for like 150 to 200 mugs a day, and that was all I was doing. So I pretty much had to unlearn everything I knew about pottery, and then relearn, and then realize that's not why I got into pottery. So I quit the job, came back to Seagrove, and just, you know, came to work on my own terms. But it was a great experience, but it was kind of give and take. So like one of the things I learned, first thing they did is they took my sponge away. Unless I'm doing big pots, then I'll keep a sponge in my hand, but you got a saturated sponge in your hand, you're like sometimes likely to squeeze it, get a little oversaturated. So one little splash will go a long way. But yeah, it just kind of frees you up from oversaturating your pot. Sorry, I'll go bigger after this one. And these are just kind of small hourglass mugs I made for King's Pottery for some time. And it is just, I'll show you how my favorite rib works. So you know how like you'll get the wooden rib, clean up all the finger ridges off of it, and get the rubber rib just to really slick it off, or the metal rib just to slick it off. But this kind of does everything all in one shot. It's just an absolutely clean surface. I love doing DIY tools, so it's just sponge, rubber band, dowel. And I even got like a wide enough dowel that'll sit flush on a 5-gallon bucket. It's just things I think about to make everything a little easier. And yeah, using these, it doesn't take much to just pick it up and be able to put it aside, because that metal rib just really slicks the whole surface real nicely. I'm going to double up one piece of clay here to show you how my bowl tool works. Yeah, you notice like I'll just adjust the wheel to the right speed where I can get the pot centered and just back off the pedal, because I'm done with that for now. Does anybody have any questions?
How do you set that?
Alright, so let's say I've started off like this. You can sit here and it's just going to smash me around all day. It just gets annoying. So I'm coming in with the very heels of my palms. I'm coming in at the bottom and squeezing and coming up with it to where it has nowhere to go but up. Instead of just trying to center it at the bottom. If you get at the right spot and squeeze it, it's going to come up. And that'll help center it right there. And then when I'm coming back down on it, I've got this hand locked in. And this is the profile I'm forming. This is to catch the clay and form that, that centered clay piece. So I've got it right here, and I'm going to smash this clay right down until it fills this handle. I'm not pressing down flat. I've got it hooked right up in the palm right there. So it's just kind of coming down on here and pressing it down. So I said I keep my hand down here. It's not necessarily true. I'll come up with it and like come down with both hands at the same time. The right hand is applying enough pressure to keep it centered as I'm pressing down with my left hand. And I've got my arm locked in on the splash pin, really tight right here.
So your left hand is kind of pushing at, what, 8 o'clock?
9.
9?
Or maybe 8. And my thumb is 8:45.
Jared, are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Okay, so I push down with my right and do that.
Yeah,
with my left, so.
and I've seen people do it the other way too. I don't think that part really matters which hand, which is your dominant hand. Okay. So this is really nice. It gives a real good undercut. Like, I'm going to be going in and undercutting and shaping with this, but I'm not, you know, pressing it into this exact form. I still have enough movement around to kind of, you know, form whatever curve I want. It's kind of like using them, like, you know, the old French curves. Like, there's enough curves on those instruments to put it down with a piece of paper and find the curve that you want.
Did you buy that tool like that, or did you?
I ground it with a bench grinder. There was a lot of sparks, and there's probably an easier way to do it. So with S-cracks and compression, we used to be able to just get a wooden rib tool and just kind of hammer it down right here to compress it real well, because you run into clay that's not so happy. But I've gotten to the point where I just, once I get down to as far as I want to go, I'll just kind of go back and forth maybe 2 or 3 times, just consistent pressure, and that will help with the S-cracking. In between each pull, I like to go in with the tip of my thumb, just drag it along the bat and press it into the side of the pot, which gives it this kind of indention, and that's like my starting spot for the next pull, for my finger on the outside. It's just kind of feels like, that's where it needs to be. Just kind of going in, I'm going to drag the tool along the back and just press it into this curve. I've got it, like, it's not straight 90 degrees. I'm having it at like 45 degrees, pushing forward. But it's really nice to get right down in there and then continue the curve with just one tool. Bring that down a little bit. it's a nice tool if you're just trying to, bang out a bunch of pots without having to turn them over and trim them. This really does clear out a whole lot of the extra clay out of the bottom. But,
Do you not trim?
what's that?
Do you not trim?
When I'm working for other potters, I don't, because I'll go in and make the pots and then walk away. They deal with the rest, and they're probably not going to trim either. But when I'm making my own pots, I do trim. I love trimming. That is just one of my favorite things. I tell a lot of my beginners, tell them, just if you get something centered and it's starting to look all right, but you don't love it, just make a thick, kind of, I don't want to say ugly, so make it feel, but just a kind of not great looking pot, cut it off, and then we'll trim it tomorrow until it's beautiful, until it's light, until it's lovely. Yeah, I was just kind of using this tool to get a nice undercut.
Is that 2 pounds of clay or?
Yeah, this was 2. Actually, another neat little example of clay physics. And I do take requests. Let me get through this bowl first, and then we'll go on to is there anything else y'all are really interested in seeing.
What kind of clay do you grow with in your studio?
At home? Right now I have a whole lot of Starlight tin. It's a clay body that Top Row makes down at Starworks in Star, North Carolina. It's a cone tin white stoneware. The only reason I have that is because one of my Potter friends recently retired, and he just had buckets and buckets of green paint. So I just, thank you. And it's funny, I would love to eventually move to mid-range reduction, but I have so much high-fire clay. I have to work through that first, and then we'll see. And these workshops that I'm doing with the kiln conversions, I'm encouraging that for the workshop we fire to cone 6 reduction because it saves on gas and materials, and you get just as nice results. This wheel has to turn on its own. All right, so this is 4 pounds.
You always use a bag.
Only for big stuff. But like small stuff, mugs, bowls, anything that can kind of fit my hand, I'll just cut them off and put them aside.
Oh.
This one might give me issues because I used the last 3 pounds of what I wedged earlier and just threw a new piece in and only wedged it for a moment. So there could be problems, but we'll see. We'll work through them. I actually am using a sponge in this case because it's a larger piece, and I do need it here to apply water as necessary.
When you were doing your 150 mugs a day, were you putting handles on them? Or
No, I just go in and kind of provide the labor, like I mean, it's their forms, though. They're showing me like what form you
Right,
need to
right.
make. They provide the clay and the wheel.
Do you do that for many people down there?
Right now I'm doing it for about 3 people, but I've been doing it for a long time, so I've worked for a whole lot of different potters down there. It's been an invaluable learning process, just learning a little bit from all of them. So this is going to be like a laid out platter. I'm showing you a neat little trick. You can get some extensive laying outedness with little to no danger of it collapsing. A straight rolling platter, and that right there is the last pull that I'm going to do, because with every pull the wall gets thinner, the wall gets weaker, but I still have some shaping to do, no more pulling. And since I stopped right there, since I stopped pulling, there's going to be more shaping, but it's the pulling that kind of, the clay has, you know, my brain just empty. Give me a second. It's a pulling that's really stressing the clay. So if I stop the pulls here, I'm still going to shape it, but the clay naturally wants to stay kind of in this form since this was the last pull. So I'm going to start pushing it down, but since I'm not pulling it while I'm pushing it down, I'm just only pushing it down and all the pulls are finished, the clay is naturally going to want to just come up. It's not going to be so weak going this way. I'll explain this. All the pulls are finished. Go back and just compressing, getting all those throwing ridges out, just kind of ending up at 45 degrees. So it's just a wooden dowel with the tip kind of rounded off. I'm just going in, and I'm not starting at the center. I'm just kind of coming down to where the wall starts. I'm laying it down this way, but the clay naturally wants to not go this way, and it wants to come this way. So I use that to my advantage instead of it wanting to go that way. Do you know what I mean?
So is the dowel touching the base or?
No, I've got it right above the inside.
So
It just kind of, it starts right where the wall starts.
is the pressure more on the rim or all the way on the side?
What's that?
Is the pressure from your dowel, is it more on the rim or is it all along?
It's more along the bottom because it's a little thicker, and that means a little more pressure, and the rest is just kind of following. I'm making sure that it's all staying level with this. Let's see how far we can go. But yeah, this is great. This works with all different size pieces of clay, so start small and then just get bigger and bigger. See how far you can go with it. If it starts to get weak, just hit it with a heat gun. But it will lift up a little bit as it dries, as you know. So you kind of have to overcompensate.
When it lifts up like that, when it dries, and then when you fire it, does it come back down? Because I've seen that happen, and I never remember to look at the end if it like came back out.
I haven't seen that happen.
Yeah, they they close up. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of think of it like an inhale and exhale, like it's
Oh, okay.
inhaling when
I've
it's
heard
dry.
that now.
I don't know. So
I haven't been paying attention.
So you're just saying that you kind of account for that inhale where it comes back up?
I push it down as far as I feel like it can go, because I know it's gonna come up. It's not gonna come up like massively, but it's still gonna come up.
I'm curious where you learned this dowel trick. Did you make it up, or?
No, Zimmer Potter showed it to me a long time ago. But it's time that it gets a new life and all of you guys learn how to do it. Get some platters up here. How far can I go with it? I can keep pressing until it falls.
And then that's too far?
But that's the only way you know what too far is. You have to do it once or twice.
No, I've never pressed it until it fell during demonstrations. Let's do it. Today's the day. Yeah, I just got it like, yeah, around 5 o'clock. That's a little fall.
You don't have to make a fall.
I don't want to make it fall. Just
That's okay.
I know, my budget. I had to see it.
I love it.
And these are great for trimming too. Like there is a substantial amount of clay on the bottom, and I do that on purpose to be able to trim a nice foot into it. You can poke some holes straight through the foot or a wall handle. I mean, this would be a clock for as far as as far down as it's gone.
I would like spiders anyways. I've been using it.
Okay, I got that picture.
Oh, yeah. Falls we grab it.
I have reflexes like that now.
So there have been places where I've done plates, and you don't get that good opportunity to, clay is really soft, and it's just only that much laying over. And, the plate rim starts to fall, and it drives me crazy, so I'll get little clay balls and
Sorry.
hook it up
camera above
long enough to
where they're
dry.
working, so, and it was
Oh, we used to
taking
do that
on
in the
screen.
studio. Yeah.
Oh, and there.
We would do it in the studio. I don't remember one. Yeah.
They did have one there.
They did? They did? Okay. I don't remember that. Yeah. Yeah, they do have one in the studio. The instructions will project it on the screen while the students are.
I'm wedging.
What's your favorite thing to make?
My favorite thing to make?
Yeah. Or like the most, not like favorite, but like the thing that like, you know how like you have that pot that you're just like, it's not quite, you're always chasing that like one shape.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Just like you love it.
It just hit me,
you
you
hate
can
it.
tell. It's the moon jars. My friend Levi, he's up in Brooklyn, and he's making them, and they look amazing. He's like, give me a demo when you come home.
Does he do them in two pieces?
What's that?
Does he do them in
Moon
two
jar? What's a
pieces?
moon jar?
Nice.
Oh.
They're just beautiful. I keep trying to do them, and like I've got them on the wheel, so nice and rounded. I put it up, and let it dry, and come out the next day. It's like this.
Will you make one?
Don't put them on the spot or anything.
Actually, no.
Don't put them on the spot or anything.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, because that had occurred to me. I can show you a technique when using like a soft metal rib at a way you can really belly out.
That's my second.
After you've thrown 150 mugs, what do you make for yourself when you're thrown?
Coffee. I like making a lot of mugs, a lot of bowls. My cones are kind of small, so I don't work very large too often. But yeah.
So more functional pottery.
What's that?
So you do more functional?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the trimming. Maybe
I
that's
know.
yeah. Do you putter as well? What do you like to make? What do you like to?
Functional
This is
Yeah,
number 3.
See a lot more vertical pieces.
That isn't quite sticking with the wheel, so it's jumping around. Alright. Do this. Stop for a second, this is bad. Operating, so running into that issue, take a little bit of plate, stop.
I throw standing as well, but I hadn't thought to turn it on its side like that.
So your back is going to right?
Yeah, it's just the pinholes are big. Usually helps. So there's this picture spout I learned a few years ago from this workshop. It's just a really great looking spout. I haven't done it in a long time until recently, so I'm going to try it here. With this, it requires stopping short of completing the very last point. Really some thickness right at the top. Looks like a castle tower. Yeah, so that was my last pull, and like I said, I stopped right around here because I want to leave the thickness in here to the spout. These scraping tools, I kind of use those more for my production work. Yeah, just kind of quick, easy little tools to use. But when I'm working on the stuff, I've gotten more into using the traditional things.
One thing good about standing up is you can get away from it and look at it.
Yeah, that's true. piece of clay in the pot, because it's never my fault. And I'll tell students, like, you know, you have an undulation, like even a slight one, the best way to get rid of it is just turn the wheel off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where do you teach classes?
At Montgomery Community College. But last semester was last semester. It's okay. Let me try to do this scalp properly. Now turn this wheel off. Kind of going from left to right in about a 2-inch span. There's another really neat thing that we did. I'm going to try and do it now. Just to give this spout a little lift. I should probably practice this a little more because I have completely warped the whole thing. Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, you get the idea of it, right? Got this spout pulled up, but pulling the sides up even more just gives it a whole fun.
The thing that used to be the most frustrating for me is when they would sign
The easiest way to mess up a spout is
But I tried to start and I put it on side.
do it.
I started doing online printing, so hopefully people follow suit.
All right, well, that's a picture.
All right.
How many pounds was that?
This was a little over 3.
You ever made any candlesticks?
Yeah, I can do it.
That would be great.
And a moon jar.
Really complicated things we ask.
Yeah, right.
I love doing candlesticks. They're a lot of fun.
How did you get into the journey manning?
Well, yeah, I took ceramics at VCU in Richmond, got my ceramics degree, and me about Zimmer, North Carolina. There's a place close by, next state over, where it's a pottery town. So I just kind of sent out an email to all the potters who had their email on the Zimmer webpage at the time. Said, you know, I just finished school for work, so I got invited down to meet everyone and start doing production. I figured since I could make like nearly 12 consistent pots, and I could be a production potter. That easy. But I'm stuck with it.
Oh, I've been trying to reach one.
He feels the whole thing comes to me. Sometimes
My name's Jay.
Yeah, I'm going to get out and work. Actually, more years than I should have. It's time to go out and work.
Yeah, I know it's the roller coaster. Are they doing any pottery? No.
right now, the last time I
So
had
did they like schedule you, or did they call you and they're like, I need 100 pounds?
no, you're just trying to
I
find
work for-
somebody who might want to rent some space.
I'm working for about 3 different shops, and I give them 1 day a week.
Well,
One
actually,
place
the
is
reason
on
I stuck with it when
Monday,
I
and
first
then
started, I got he was a studio
just
potter
going
there
on
for a
a
while.
once-a-week basis.
Very
Big pots full.
Ah, okay. Good stuff.
Well, I'm getting my mugs down pretty quick, so that feels good. So 100 mugs is about 2.5 hours.
Whoa.
But I get paid by the piece, so the faster. What's that?
The quicker the better. You get paid.
Yeah, the faster I am, the sooner I get to go home.
Do they pay you at the end of the day, or like after everything's?
Yeah, I get a check every week. It's contract work, so I do my own taxes.
Craven County Arts Consult is a pottery throwdown for their empty bowls, which is this Friday. Michelle's done it previous 2 years. She did about 70 bowls. I mean, 70? Yeah. Oh, that's incredible.
Is that new?
Yeah. 70 bowls in an hour. Yeah, I'm lucky if I do 7
Those are
this
fun. That was,
She
there's
preps,
one shop I was working with
preps her
several
plate,
years ago. We were making
gets the balls,
10-pound candlesticks, and they're about 2 feet tall. And so, yeah, I came up with this technique. So get the clay centered, open it out. You can see I kind of started out with a cylinder with the top curved in. So, as long as it's at a decent enough height, I can start choking in from the bottom with both hands and then come up with it. But once it's tall, I got to hold on to the top if I want to keep shaping so it's not going to flop over. So, yeah. So what we would do is like get 10 pounds centered, get a cylinder going, and then I'd get one of the workers come over and get his hands wet and hold on to the top. And I'd go over and just start choking it in and coming up, and he would come up with it, and like we would come up with these giant candlesticks. It was a lot of fun. Yeah,
We gotta do that.
well, I'm actually sitting down. Whoever's helping me is standing up.
Okay.
I've got about 12 of those things in my garage, all different sizes. I can't get them to be consistent.
Is that polished to the back? Or does it have base? Is it polished to the back?
Probably a lot of hours and a lot of drawing to get consistent like that.
So I'm sorry, you said it is hollow to the, it's down to the, yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
No, this one came out nice. This pops out. Of course it is. Here.
was only 4 minutes.
What's that?
He said that was only 4 minutes.
Really? Slow. What time is it?
8,
Oh, great.
12.
All right, we'll try that moon jar. Thank you.
No pressure.
No pressure.
CAT, yeah, cat your acre.
2.5. Actually, we use I know people who swear by the mold that reclaim. I used to work for a Pottery. She would pour the rest of her diet Pepsi into the slot bucket just to work up some bacteria. Well, you get to hear them all screaming in the dry room. I just hear that the plasticity is helps with plasticity. It's also short. That's good.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna make a small bowl, make something that looks like a birthday cake, maybe even a little taller than a birthday cake, that shape. And then I go down the center and make the floor of it, the bottom of it. And then the sides are like this.
Yeah.
And then I pull them up. Seems like you center it and you start to make the floor, you push the whole thing back down and then bring it back up. And why do you do that? Do you know what I'm
Well,
talking
I'm centered.
about?
Sure.
Do you know what I'm
You're opening, the opening, I think.
That's how you center it.
Like when you see, when you make these cones.
No, because I make birthday cake. You know that shape? You don't make a birthday cake. You push it on down.
Yeah.
And then, all right, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just
You can tell him when he does it.
point it out. Yeah.
There's a birthday cake. All right. And then you push it back in.
And then,
Like open.
yeah.
Open. And look, it's going down.
Oh yeah, because as I'm opening it up, I'm just kind of pressing it down so it doesn't all kind of hover over top of that opening. When I do the opening, I want to get all the clay out of the way just to work on this and then come back and yeah. So like technically the bottom of this pot is only about that wide, but all the clay's just kind of rolled over this way. I just kind of push it out of the way while I'm working on the center. Then I'll go back, and for this first pull, I'm pushing it all back to the center and upwards, kind of like a volcano. Just because I want to keep it centered and keep it from laying out as I'm going. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Looks very efficient.
Yeah, it's the reason I do that, and I'll do another pod after this and show you that, because there's a point behind it. It's to ensure that first pull stays level, instead of like both hands pulling it up, and sometimes at the end of the pull you have a wobbling top. So like I've got it laid out like a donut, but I've got my fingers kind of crawl around, you know, the meat of the donut. I squeeze it in, and I'm pulling it up, but I'm also compressing it with my sponge on the rim too, so it's a double motion, pushing it down as I'm pulling it up. I'm not pushing out too hard. I can't pull up, just finding the right amount of pressure to keep it level as I'm pulling it up. And it helps. Yeah, just pinching with this hand and compressing it with a sponge and my finger on the top of it. So I'm keeping this rim really compressed even as I'm pulling it up. Now I came in here talking about, oh, I don't use a sponge, but that's just for production stuff. When I'm working on my own stuff, I like to use all the nice tools. Top starts to widen out, I like to come back and just kind of compress the bottom and then just squeeze it all back inwards. Even when I'm going to put my hand back in there, it's going to spread out a little bit more, but I just like to do that just for the sake of consistency. Where we start getting into the problems.
Are you leaving the bottom or the middle thicker so you can push it out?
A little bit, yeah. I definitely haven't gotten all the pulls out of this. Well, I mean, no, I take that back. I have gotten all the pulls out of this that I want, but it's not as thin as if I leave it this tight. I am leaving it a little thick. Plus, along with these, you can turn them over and trim them. That's super light too. So that's another advantage of, like another reason to leave it thick if you need to. Yikes. There's trouble written all over it. Well, if it doesn't survive, I can at least show you guys this great technique. So these metal ribs, the one that cut you if you're not paying attention, if you're messing around in your cut. I like to use the flat side and just kind of pinch it and give it a curve and keep it on the outside as I'm pressing out from the inside. And this really helps belly out the pot, helps it keep the wall compressed so it doesn't soften out and collapse. Less likely to, but it's just a really nice tool for bellying out. So nice and clean. It's not too. How to make me do a million. I do want to get this top in just a little bit more. Okay. about where I would stop. And the rest of it on the bottom, left enough clay, because you do want to leave a good amount of clay on the bottom to actually support the pot as you're making it. All that extra clay on the bottom looks terrible now, will get trimmed off to a nice foot. Hopefully continue that curve. There's a sharp spot here.
Yeah, but you threw a perfect candlestick.
But at least you saw the technique. Let's just keep going because it's going to fall.
There's a sharp spot, you mean, because it goes out before it comes.
Yeah, you can see like right here. It's just not continuing the curve. I'm just really messing around right now. See, I'm just not good at this. I need to take a shot. You want to be good at this so bad.
So are you pushing from the inside and catching it, pushing it to the rib, or are you forming it with the rib?
I'm pressing it just into this curve. I've got a curve, and I'm using the profile of this curve right up the side as I'm pressing it into it. Moving on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I'm going to do just one more quick small thing. Who was asking about that? I'm going to cut this one out.
Do you do any trimming on the back at all, or do you wait?
Yeah.
Take it off and turn it over and do all the trimming?
The pitcher would need to stay on the back to do some trimming because the top is all undulated. So if I need to, I'm going to destroy this so don't you want to get upset. So yeah, something.
I said that's why I brought the clay so I could keep everything. Just kidding.
So yeah, if it's like a real tall base, something that can be inverted and trimmed, what I would do is make it. I would make these. What do they call these kind of wine decanter type things? What's that? Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't make a chuck for them. I just leave them kind of on that, just like that. I wouldn't. After I make it on the wheel, I don't cut it off. I just leave it stuck to the bat. I sit for a day. Tomorrow it's leather hard. You just put it back on the wheel and it's turning. You just trim the bottom.
But do you do that with, your basic form stuff too?
Anything else that I can flip over, I flip over. And the fun thing about like trimming upright, especially if the opening is big enough, you can get your hand in there and feel how thick it is while you're trimming. So that's fun, real time. I'm going to show you this one's fun. It's like, that's correct, right? 25?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I thought we were impressed. Show you some faceted glass. Very visual.
Do you have any workshops coming up?
Yeah, I've got kiln conversion workshop. I've got a few of them next summer. One's at Dolores Farmer Pottery, and one's in New York, Indiana. We're looking to do one in North Carolina.
Pottery Center?
Yeah,
And classes at the Pottery Center.
Yep. Kat is killing it with teaching some Pottery Center classes.
No, I want you to teach some throwing classes at the Pottery Center.
Me too. Yeah, the only workshops I have coming up right now are kiln conversion workshops. I don't have any
will you have the same model that you did before where you can come for some parts of it and not others?
Most likely for Dolores's workshop, yeah. Okay, the claw pull. So I've got the bottom opened up, and you see like a bunch of clay is kind of rolled over. So I'm just gonna get in there, my thumbs on the outside, fingers on the inside. I'm using my sponge, and I'm actually pushing the clay with my sponge back towards the center right now. And now I'm starting to squeeze from the bottom up as I'm compressing all this clay still downwards. So I'm just, and I got it pinched, I'm pulling it up, but I'm pushing down at the same time. Just really helps keep a level and compressed top for that first pull. After that, you can continue with the next pulls and you have a better chance of a level pop.
Okay, go ahead.
Faceted tops are fun because
No, just a visit of yours ago when I first started.
real thick.
But no, he was teaching here in Cary.
Okay.
And actually, I didn't take a classroom, but he was there in the evening. When I first year I started, 94, 95. And without him opening, I never would have stuck with it. He's the one that taught me that.
Yeah, it happens.
But he was great.
Spray vertical. Trying to make this as vertical and
Yeah.
as possible.
And I went to his, there's a fundraiser at Cedar Creek 9 years ago. And
Half an inch, 3/4,
I lost track.
an inch
I
thick.
tried a few times and it went bad. I was concerned that,
Yeah.
you know,
Do you teach here also?
well, I'm a faculty,
You
yeah.
are?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not teaching. So,
This cheese slicer.
What do you teach?
oh,
This
well,
is
right
a
now I'm
great
teaching
one. I got this
classical
Dollar
catastrophic.
General like 15 years ago. They don't make them like this one.
You're a doctor.
The cool thing about this one is it has this roller here, so I can stick this in with how much clay can be sliced.
Were you
off.
one of our students?
No.
Huh?
I used to teach the Art Institute.
Oh,
We'll try to put this
Yeah, so, yeah, I was on the original board and,
Yep.
actually kind of my, yeah.
I share that story with a lot of
Oh,
people,
that's
how you helped change the whole
That's so
situation.
kind of you.
What an amazing thing.
Yeah, I'm still on the board, so 20, 25 years later.
All right.
Just running into you then.
So you're from Jackson?
Here.
What part?
I did one, so I'm going to go to the opposite side.
Yeah, we were in Boston before we came here. I worked on State Time, actually, in Ipswich, too.
Ipswich, yes.
Find the in between. The first two I did. There.
Yeah, we worked on the, actually, I worked on one of the We worked
So I
at a
got
place
4
called the
sides.
Trustees of the Reservation,
Four
the
pounds,
crane
70
toilet
toes.
Crane,
Go
yep.
back and
property.
to each corner.
That's a nice thing. It was a wonderful middle school teacher. Julie.
Down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, the New Bridge.
All right.
Unfortunately, I'm not
So-
sure.